What's up, people? Welcome to the GSC Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Lauchi, joined this week by Johnny
Hello.
and Gianni.
Hello.
Unfortunately, there's no Jamie this week, which means you're going to get another fun, things might be true, things might not be true episode of the podcast that we cobbled together at the last minute.
If you're looking for facts, there are none.
Luckily, the things we're going to be talking about today are mostly sort of our personal thoughts on things rather than actual solid figures. So we should get by okay, I hope.
Wow, how
So he's
boring
got
do you
some
make
sticker.
Jamie sound? Jesus.
No,
He's like obsessed with facts.
no. Jamie's an integral part of the show, and any episode like this, you find out why.
Jamie's our numbers guy.
This is our lessons learned.
It's all good, man. Well, we can start as we always do anyway, with what we've been playing / doing. Johnny, you can go first, because Gianni has got a story to tell me afterwards, man.
I know. I want to hear the story. Well, actually, I haven't been
Okay.
playing that much recently in the last week. So
Been busy,
Yeah.
just trying to. You just want to hear Gianni's story. Come on, Gianni, tell us
Tell me.
of your tales, man.
Yeah, so I went to Iceland. Yeah. Iceland.
Iceland.
Land of ice.
What'd you do? What'd you do in the land of ice, Gianni? I'm Gianni.
I saw no ice.
You saw no ice.
I feel like I should have got a refund. No, it's actually a beautifully natural country, and it's better than all this bullshit of Thailand. I mean, what the hell's in Thailand?
Whoa.
Hookers,
Whoa.
and
Whoa.
ping pong ball tricks and stuff, and
Good
not much
food.
else.
Yeah,
Green
there's
free. And yellow, probably.
racist. Anyway, so instead of making this let's slate Thailand and insult another country in this podcast, basically, yeah. So I saw some like water shooting out of the ground, which is called like geysers, which is like the London geysers for anyone from
Is it not?
London listening.
You're
Geysers.
you're reaching for that. It's called a geyser, man. Fuck you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
even spelled GEYSIR over there as well.
Do they really stink? Because I've never seen a geyser
Yeah.
up close.
They smell of ass, like like or more an eggy fart
Yeah.
is what it smells like. So
Oh, God.
it's pretty foul. So I better start like lightening or sort of bringing the podcast back up a notch, and
Back down.
yeah. So we saw a bunch of geysers, which were fucking awesome. Like, there was a video of this massive one. It's quality. Saw a lot of waterfalls, some really cool waterfalls.
Awesome.
There were what else? Oh shit! I've just drawn a blank. Oh yeah, Northern Lights. Oh yeah, that thing.
Like
How could I forget?
probably the most impressive thing there, right? And you forget
Yeah.
it.
Well, it's quite funny because it was pissing down with rain, and it was quite cloudy when we were there as well. So we were quite lucky to actually see it. We stuck it out. We were out until like 2 o'clock in the morning in the middle of nowhere. Like if it was in Britain, you'd either have been stabbed, mugged, or or have some doggers out the window. So yeah, no, that was fantastic. And in fairness, you couldn't really see it like as clearly as the photos make out, but we could see enough to be able to want to take the photos, and it was pretty awesome.
What color was it, man? Because usually you see it as like greenish, right? But you can see other colors.
Yeah, well, I mean, you liked the photo on Facebook, so like you tell me, but
Yeah, it was impressive.
no,
I was just super jealous, man. I wished I was there.
there was like greens and purples and blues. Oh, it was quality. The photos we took, absolutely amazing. So that made the whole trip like, I mean, it was worthwhile before then. And I was trying not to make my holiday sort of based around something that we may not see.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't come home disappointed. But now I saw it, I was pretty content. And then on the final day, we went to the Blue Lagoon, which it's like an luminous blue. The water is like there's an ice white and then this luminous bright blue. It's quite surreal.
Did you get to like swim in it and stuff?
Well, there's a spa,
Okay.
but we thought for two reasons that we didn't go. One, it would cost like 40 quid, and we both sort of like spent our money. and we didn't, and that's just for like a basic thing. So we thought, meh. And then we thought also with 2 guys in a sauna or a spa, you know, Europeans, I don't know. So we were like, nah, fuck that, fall off. It's more of a romantic thing you'd take your girlfriend to.
Fair enough.
Or boyfriend.
Yeah, or boyfriend. Come on, we include everyone in this podcast.
Not your flatmate.
Or Scott.
Yeah, or Scott. Or me. You wouldn't take
So
me.
did you find yourself then, Jenny?
Did I find myself?
Did you find yourself?
Do some soul searching
Was it
while
there?
you're out there, yeah? Throw some rocks into the Blue Lagoon.
No.
No?
No.
How was coming home to GTA, Jenny?
You know, I'd probably be pretty bummed out right now. Like, I'm in shitty England. I'm in England with where it's actually colder. It's actually colder here in England than it was in Iceland. How? That's just not possible. Well,
Just the way English weather works, man.
And Iceland's not that cold.
Yeah.
Kind
Greenland's
of
cold.
is. It kind of is. I mean, Iceland's more north. I mean, it's more north than Scotland. So come on, and Scotland's like I don't know,
Still?
Antarctica, basically. So yeah, no, I really want to go back. Like everyone says it's expensive. Sorry, this is turning into some sort of like touristy guide. Actually, no, it's got nothing to do with games. But yeah, it's everyone says it's expensive, but food wise isn't. And as long as you don't do anything like activity wise, so no, it sounds ridiculous, but all right. When we went to see the Northern Lights, there was a coach load of people turned up, like lights blaring and everything. And we got really pissed off because it was like perfect setting, and his coach pulls up, and they stayed for about 10-15 minutes, and I think if I remember rightly, there could be like £100 some of those tours.
What?
And then they just left, and then an hour later it appeared. So I was like, well, it's not really a good use of money. So the fact that we got to do what we wanted to do, rather than what the tour guide said for an overinflated price.
That's crazy. What? So the coach takes you there, you get to look at it for 10 minutes, and then the coach brings you back?
Well, I think the coach drivers, because they're locals, I guess they're locals, so they sort of know, or they should know what are good sites to see it, and the general conditions.
Okay.
So I have imagined, because at the time it was quite cloudy, but it had just finished raining, so we thought we'd stay and see if the cloud clears, and it did, and then we got a bit lucky. So yeah, I'd say go out in a car. Don't do that sort of stuff by yourself. Do that stuff by yourself, and then when I go back one day, I'm gonna go like ATVing, dog sledging,
all the things you were too cheap to do this time, basically.
Yeah, trust me, that stuff is seriously expensive. Like an hour dog sledging, slaying. No, that sounds wrong. Dog slaying sounds like mass murderer. Yeah, that's about. I think that was like £150 for an hour. So
wow,
it can get pretty steep. I can't actually remember if I made that figure up. It might have been £100, but it's still expensive. £100 for an hour is not cheap. About how you look at it. So yeah, I'd say Iceland. Go to somewhere where not very many people have gone. The food is actually really good as well. So I can't fault it, and I can't wait to go back. Cannot wait. So yeah, all that aside, coming home, I would have been proper bummed out. And then I saw GTA on my doormat, and I was like, holy motherfuck. So
now you love GTA, and you played you played GTA 5 on the PS3, right?
Yeah, we all did. No, Ben
And
didn't. But
completed
me,
it.
you, and Jamie did. Yeah.
Okay. So how does this compare?
All right. Well, it's as you'd expect. Everything looks sharper, better. There's loads of little details, and I think it's the first person mode that really sells it. Like, you probably won't use it. I mean, I find myself dipping in and out of it for various reasons. But it's like it's a little detail. So, for example, if you do first-person view in a car, you see like all the lights on the dash. So when you start up a car, it'll come up with the battery light and the engine light, and those are shown on there.
That's awesome.
And then when you turn your lights on, the light comes on, and all the dials move in all the cars. It's not like GTA Gran Turismo 5 where it's like half a game. So yeah, no, it's brilliant. and it's just I'm still like learning new stuff about it. I'm sort of just dicking around, exploring. Even now, Jamie, don't judge me. So yeah, I if you're not sure what next gen game to buy, you can't go wrong with this because it's just you've got stuff like Sleeping Dogs and Watch Dogs, I think, but they just don't compare for that open world. I mean, they're good in their own right. Sleeping Dogs' battle system was awesome, and Watch Dogs for all the other reasons. But GTA just as a complete package of a game, I just can't fault it. And yeah, it's got its glitches. The servers aren't quite working properly, and it's that age-old thing. And this is why I'm a bit gutted Jamie's not here because we wanted to talk about games that are basically not finished when they release. I mean, Assassin's Creed's been in the news. Halo, the game that Xbox One was like it was a dead cert to sell consoles, and it's been a bit of a travesty from what I've been reading. I don't have any experience in it, so if I'm speaking out of turn,
no, it's fine.
Yeah, sure, berate us.
It kind of blew my mind earlier as well when I heard the statement from them, and they were like, "Oh, we've got the Rumble playlist ready to go, right? And we'll put it up as soon as we fix like the matchmaking." 2 weeks later, matchmaking is still broken on fucking Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, but I mean, this is what confuses me because this is Microsoft's like Halo franchise, and I don't understand how they couldn't get it to work. Like, this is the only reason why it actually did why it sold so many copies was because of the online.
Yep.
That's his bread and butter. So they've basically released a mediocre campaign of a 10, 15-year-old game?
Yep, pretty much. Well, I mean, 4 games, right? It's 4 games in one.
Oh, sorry, games. Yeah, sorry.
But, I mean, You're fooling yourself if you think people are buying it for anything other than Halo 2 Anniversary. Like, that is the selling point.
Yeah, but everybody, they only buying it for the online.
Yep.
Like, that's the only reason why they're buying it. And the only reason why they should buy it. And it would probably have... and it would have shifted some consoles. I imagine there would be some really pissed off people that, that they can't even get the AAA game that is their baby to work. That's like Nintendo shipping, I don't know, a really glitchy Mario Kart.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. You're putting all your eggs on that basket, and you've got to throw the money towards it because that's the one that's going to that could make or break them. So going on from that, and without turning it into, the console war and blah blah. I mean, how much of an effect do you think this could have on Microsoft sales? Because I imagine they would be, pretty pissed off that this. Who is it? 363 or
343? Yeah, 343.
343. Close enough. 343 Industries. They must be pretty pissed off that they've not delivered on this.
Well, I mean, you got to think that. They wouldn't have known that it was like this. They couldn't have released it like knowing that the matchmaking was going to be this bad. But that's what proper beta testing is for. Like that, It should have been properly beta tested. The servers should have been stress tested. They should have known the amount of copies it was going to sell, right? I'm sure I've said this before, man, right? And it's almost like I'm repeating myself now. And like people must say it to them that like you should do proper beta testing phases, not just call your demo a beta. If you release a multiplayer demo and have no intention of taking feedback and fixing stuff, it's not a fucking beta.
Yeah, and I just don't get... I don't understand... I can't understand the thought process. This isn't a small game. This isn't a game where they could turn around and say, "Oh, we underestimated the amount of copies we'd sell," or it's like like a Ni no Kuni, like the when that released and copies were so hard to come by originally because it was just this unprecedented demand. It wasn't. It's not that at all. There was a lot of hype about it, and it's just. I think it's a bit of a shame because I was really intrigued actually, which I was surprised neither of you are actually laughing, but I was actually intrigued to see how much it would affect their consoles. I have a feeling it may end up. I don't know. They may not close that gap as much as they'd hoped.
Well, I mean,
and
we'll touch on it later, but like the actual figures are a lot closer than you might think from one angle. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I see that, but I'm thinking of long term, and I'm also wondering: is this another reason for Microsoft to have to almost buy them way back into consumers' hearts again? So it's almost like this: they're having to keep either price cutting, removing Connect. This is like something else they may have to like apologize for, because of the following of it. I don't know. They see this. I suppose they are unlucky because they're going to get the flack for this as well.
yeah,
I mean, really, it's the developer who, quite frankly, hasn't done their job. So whether or not they've been pressurized to get it in for the Christmas release, but I'm sorry, this is another server issue.
mm-hmm.
It's not like Assassin's Creed where it's just built badly. I don't know if you guys have seen the horrifying photographs that have been flying around.
Oh god, those faces, man.
Those faces. I mean, I thought it was like some joke for Halloween or something, or a bit late, but no, those are actually real photos of the
They're
game.
freaking hilarious, though, man.
So, all right. Sorry, I don't mean to like, because we still need to talk about what you've been playing, Ben.
No, that's cool, man. Like, I asked what you've been playing / doing this week. Fuming and waiting to rant was probably one of those things, so I'll let it go, man.
I'd like to think I'm not ranting, but I'm kind of just like, I don't know.
We call it ranting, but you don't rant. You just you're passionately invested in this industry, and that's what this industry needs.
I feel calmer today than most other podcasts. But all right, let's just talk. It's the Northern Lights, yeah. It's the spa water that must have splashed onto me.
It was those old geezers you saw.
Those old geezers farting around, ejaculating into the air.
Gross, man.
Wow, this has gone to some dark places. Yeah, so I've not exactly been quiet in my criticisms of Assassin's Creed over the years, and
let me complain about this with you, man. Assassin's Creed Rogue, the one for current gen, is across the board getting better reviews than Assassin's Creed Unity. Now,
but Unity's their big blockbuster one, yeah?
Yeah. Unity is the PS4, Xbox One, right? There was a embargo on reviews for Assassin's Creed Unity until like 9 a.m. the day the game came out. So like
I heard about
review sites and stuff weren't allowed to post their reviews until 9 a.m., which means people that bought the game at midnight, if they'd like pulled an all-nighter, they could be almost through the campaign at that point. Like that is so bad, man, especially when the game turns out to be really buggy and like have tons of frame rate issues and stuff at launch. Like, and obviously they might not have done it knowing that was the case, but that's got to be the first thing everyone thinks. Like, well, obviously they put the embargo there because they knew it was messy and they didn't want people to hear about it before they had a chance to buy it.
And all right, put it this way: if you're proud of something, would you not give it out to those to the reviewers and go, "Our game's amazing. Critique it all you want because you're not going to find a problem with it."
Like with Dragon Age, the reviews came out like a week earlier, right? Even before the game came out, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, really, there's something to be said about setting certain embargoes, right? Like maybe having a review embargo until the day before a game comes out. Like, that's kind of fine, because not every reviewer is going to play through the game at the same pace. So it gives everyone a chance to get their reviews ready to go up on a set date, Whereas
I suppose
if they get the copy sent to them like 2 weeks in advance and there's no embargo, then like people who play through them really fast can hammer out their reviews, go up first, and then they have kind of like an unfair advantage because they're the only review out at that point. Whereas with the embargo, all the reviews come out at the same time, which means you can get all of the information together in one place, and it's kind of fair for all sites. If you think about it from their business perspective, I mean, obviously, the earlier you're able to access a review, the better it is for the consumer, because it gives you more knowledge to put towards your purchases and stuff.
Which is what I was going to mention. I don't know. For me, I think as a consumer, I think that if you're going to be buying this game, right, or you're going to be buying their products, I can't think of an industry where you don't know what it is you're going into until the launch day. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like cinema, bloody hell, even the phones, cars, everything you hear about it, you see it. You can go and touch and pretty much a lot of them. You can go and touch and feel them before you even go and buy it before it's even available. And it just says to me a lot about if you're that worried that you're going to get a bad review, or you want the you hide it behind the public will decide how good it is, right? But, I don't know. I think you're hiding something in my movie. Because as I said, if you're proud of something, you'll shout about it. All right, if you're onto something good, you keep it to yourself quietly, but then you make you get the momentum going before it's released.
Yeah.
You'd never release a console without any hype, without going to these E3 and stuff and showing it and getting people hands on. It just doesn't work like that. So why would the game, why would you not let reviewers shout about your game unless you knew there was a problem with it? Like a fundamental flaw or game breaking.
Well, yeah, that's what everyone thinks, right? That is like the first thing you're gonna think when you find out that there was a review embargo till like after the game was released in most places, and the game ended up getting pretty mediocre scores and was pretty buggy and stuff. And you got to think that.
What I'm wondering is how many people actually read the reviews and base their purchase off, base their purchases off that. I mean, we all do because we're kind of hardcore gamers, but the average Joe, do you think they bother with reviews? Do you think they just see Assassin's Creed and buy it anyway?
Probably, because I mean, I didn't read any reviews at all for Dragon Age Inquisition, but I still bought that. If it's a serious
how much
point,
affect, really.
No, you do raise a good point. I mean, a lot of gamers will buy it because it's the name, or
especially because Assassin's Creed 4 was really good, right? It was really well received, so people were expecting a lot of high things.
Yeah, you played Assassin's Creed 4, so you'd probably be the best to comment on this, surely. I mean, because you really enjoyed it, right? This is the pirate one?
Black Flag.
Black Flag, yeah. So, I mean,
yeah, it's just
you must be so disappointed with this, because a lot of people have said that's one of the best in the series. I mean, what's your take?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I think Black Flag, took it into the right direction, and I think they should have just expanded on that. I mean, Paris is a cool setting, but they really went back to how Assassin's Creed 2 was. It was very simplistic with its mission setup for, the new one, Unity. I think that's part of the problem. I think because how many teams do they have working on these Assassin's Creed games? Because obviously, I think Black Flag was worked on by a different group, maybe.
Yeah, they've got a couple of teams.
3 years. Yeah, so I think
like
it's
COD.
Kind of like, yeah, I was going to say it's basically like COD now, where they have sort of different teams working on it. So they feel a bit like disjointed, and some of them make progresses which don't keep up. So
you've said something that I wanted to talk about as well is when Assassin's Creed 2 came out. I mean, I loved it, blah blah, and then I don't understand why the French, because it is all about the French Revolution, isn't it, or whatever.
Yeah.
Why this didn't come out just after then? Because I could see it. I remember saying it. If the next one should be this, and then it went through all the other shit. I thought. I didn't understand, and I think, and it's even more strange that you said that it's very, very similar to 2, almost like it was built on 2's engine and then sort of like upgraded, and that's where the problem is.
I don't know about that, man. I think we're heading rapidly towards crackpot theories now, Gianni.
No. I don't know. It could have been. I'm not saying it is. I could be totally wrong. And you're right. Yeah, call it a crackpot theory. But to me, it made more sense because of the settings, right?
Yeah.
And it just seems a bit strange that they abandon everything. I suppose, yeah, you're right. If they are 2 different studios, then the possibility's there. But I don't know. It just seems weird. It seems weird that they wouldn't continue that momentum. But
the thing is, I think the conversation probably happened in Ubisoft, right? They probably said after AC2, maybe we should move towards like the French Revolution because it's a similar setting. We can have similar themes and stuff. And they were probably like, no, we should try something different. Maybe they didn't want to be safe. That's why they decided to go for like the American Revolution and stuff. Give it a different setting. But people didn't really like Assassin's Creed 3. In fact, I think it was quite a disappointment to everybody.
Yeah.
So this was almost like a safety blanket for them to go back to this setting, which is so similar to their previous the previous game that everyone liked, which was AC2. So,
yeah,
that's what I think anyway.
All right. So just before, without like trying to flog this dead horse even more, but there was an interesting article I was reading, which was suggested about why gamers end up having to buy something broken, and yet getting a refund is almost impossible on software. And they were arguing of whether or not that's fair. If going back to what I was saying, like if you have a car that doesn't work, you can refuse it and you get your money back. Same with a mobile. Maybe a little bit more difficult, but you can still do it. Everything else with electronics, if it doesn't work, you're entitled to a refund or you can get an exchange. You can't do that with computer games.
You should be able to, because it's not fit for purpose, isn't it? Like if it is that buggy and broken, you should be able to get your money back.
But I don't think I've ever seen anyone bring a brand new game in and say, yeah, the game's broken.
I think there have been cases where game shops will take back games like within the first week if there's like a massive known bug. That has happened before, right?
Yeah, but
what game was that?
It's far less common now with like day one patching and stuff. Previously, before being able to like issue a title update via a network service, there would be, if there was a big game breaking bug, there would be a recall, and then like the game company would have to fix the bug and then re-release the game. But now that doesn't really seem to be an issue because they just say, "Oh, we'll fix it post-launch." But if you haven't got an internet connection, you're kind of fucked.
What happened to the Sims? Not the Sims. Sim City. There you go. Because that was. I don't know if people got. Did people get refunds?
I don't think so. Actually, I feel like after all of their talk of saying, "Oh, we can't add an offline mode." And don't quote me on this because I haven't got the information in front of me, but I feel like like they did add an offline mode to the new SimCity game. Like after all the like feedback and stuff, I feel like an offline mode was added to it. But I could be completely speaking out my ass there. So they should have. So that's what should have happened.
I know for a fact that mods like patched in like an offline mode. And it mostly worked, like because they were saying, "Oh, it's impossible to make this run offline," weren't they? Mm-hmm. That was their shtick, but then modders did it like the next day.
Like, why? What is other companies saying? Do you remember when Microsoft was spouting that shit? It's impossible for it to be offline. It has to always be online. And then
with the Kinect as well,
always on.
Suddenly it's
you can't sell our Xbox One without a Kinect.
Yeah. Well, no. Even before that, when they first announced that it was like going to be always online and stuff, and you'd have to be online to play any game and stuff. Even before the whole Kinect debacle, and they were like, "No, we can't just turn that off or whatever." And then they just turned it off. And it's the same with the Kinect. The Kinect's a crucial part of the console. It needs it to work. And they were like, "Oh, no, we're taking that out now." So
actually, we need more money. So yeah, we'll take it off.
Yeah. It's almost like these companies don't get that we see through their bullshit. Like whenever they say no, it can't be done. Like that's just them saying we'd really rather not do it. Of course it can be done.
Yeah,
it's the same with fucking Sony and the PlayStation Network names. I've been stuck with this same shitty PSN name for like years now. Like I want to change it. Oh no, we can't change it. Like yes, you fucking can. Just do it.
I'm with you on that one. Because Microsoft have done it from day one on the from the 360. I don't know if they did on the original Xbox. Actually, they may have. But yeah. But especially, it really annoys me because my tag has got an S instead of a 5, and everything else is with a 5, and I cannot change it. And I would pay that money, that whatever it was it 5, 7 quid, maybe 8, to change it once. I'd happily do that.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's a bit silly.
I was reading something that they don't want people griefing loads of people in like in a lobby, then changing their gamer tag. And then
they get money for that.
Yeah, that is one extreme case.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Like,
it's
nobody's going to do that on a daily basis, especially if you charge a fee for it.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, it's like the WoW thing, isn't it? You can buy a level 99 character, but it costs. And then you're thinking you can do it, but then it's a lot of effort and a lot of money for. Yeah, so. Mm-hmm. I hope they change their mind because that's one of the first things I'm going to do. But yeah, there's no news on that anytime soon. Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up. I totally forgot about that.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
But before we forget, Ben, what have you been playing?
Are we finally there, are we?
Yeah.
Well, I've been playing an absolute ton of Dragon Age Inquisition, but we'll get to that in a minute. Bayonetta finally showed up.
Oh.
I haven't played it yet, right? But I've got to say, I've got the Bayonetta 1 and 2 combi pack for the Wii U. I can't wait to sit down and play it. But now that Dragon Age is here, it's going to be on the back burner. And I feel so bad because it's in a really nice box and everything. I'm looking at it as I'm talking right now. Johnny, is Bayonetta 1 really that good? Because I never finished it. I only played like the first hour and then like something else was out at the same time which took over from it. So I think I'm going to go back and play that first.
The general views I've heard though is that it is very much like Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2 is. So perhaps you played most of Bayonetta 1?
No. I literally played for like an hour and a half.
Oh, just an hour and a half.
Yeah,
okay.
and then switched to something else.
It is more of the same. So, but yeah, I'd say play 1 and then play 2.
So that is something that I'm planning to do as soon as
they are amazing.
As soon as time allows.
Yeah.
But Smash Bros is coming out this Friday, so that's also going to be probably put in front of Bayonetta 2. But no, Dragon Age Inquisition. I was super hyped for this game. I took a load of the games that I wasn't playing down to our local video game shop, video game retailer, to trade them all in, just because I wanted to free up some space. And they were like, you get 20% extra trade if you pre-order a game. And I was like, okay, well, there's nothing I want right now, so I might just get extra trading value against something that I will want down the line. So I was like, all right, just chuck me a pre-order down on Dragon Age Inquisition. And they were like, okay, like went through their little system of looking through their books and stuff until they found out what the code was for it. And they were like, okay, it's a £10 deposit. I was like, oh, okay, all right, well, that's fine. So I paid my deposit, and I was like, I assume I've got like a collector's edition or something.
Yeah.
And I went down to pick it up, and I took a couple of games with me to trade in. I took Evil Within and Watch Dogs with me to trade in against it again. And I already had my £10 deposit, so I thought, this is fine. I'm going to pay like 20 quid or something. Like, got there. Yeah. It's fucking £65! £65!
Really?
It says Deluxe Edition on the case, but it's just a regular PS4 case.
Like, oh my god. Isn't it 55 on the PSN store?
I don't know, right? I was like, what? Are you serious? And they were like, yeah, it's the Deluxe Edition. It's got things that aren't in the regular edition. I was like, all right, I'll take your word for it. Right? Got home. It literally is just like a couple of weapons that like I rapidly...
Yeah, the weapons pack, which you get from Amazon. You can buy the game for like 40 quid on there.
Anyway, £65. That is a lot of money for a regular video game, and I was not impressed. Luckily, the game's fantastic, so I wasn't that disappointed when I got home and I was like, oh, just spent 65 quid on this. Started playing it, absolutely in love with it, man.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
I haven't stopped playing it since. There's so many cool features and stuff that they've added. One of the best bits, right, and it's not even like combat related or anything. It's the new like war room system where like you've got your Inquisition HQ, and you can make use of like the people under your command to go out and do like covert missions, like send them off. And it kind of feels like a mobile game because like you send them off to a place and it will take them a certain amount of time to finish their objective and stuff. Luckily, there's no microtransactions to speed that up. Although it is a fucking EA game, so I expect them coming soon or something. But no, there's loads of really cool ones. It's got like this level of Game of Thronesy intrigue to it. Like there was a thing of succession going on in a different country, and I could send in like multiple missions to like rig the elections to go in my favor and stuff. Which it's really, really cool, man. Those are the bits that I'm loving so far. I've probably put like 20 hours into it or something, maybe a little bit less than that. The story's progressing really well at the moment, although there are some familiar concepts from previous Dragon Age games which are flowing on into this one, which I think at this point maybe they should just be accepted as part of Dragon Age. Like rather than pointing out that like, oh, there were similar tropes in Dragon Age 2 and Dragon Age 1. Well, then at this point that is just what Dragon Age is, right? You can't really fault it on having similar tropes if that's what it is. So like there's like hostility between the Templars and the Mages again, and like you have to pick which side you're going to work with. Like
right,
just the same as it was in previous games. But I think that's just something that's going to be in every Dragon Age game. So,
yeah, exactly.
But no, I'm loving it, man. The first time I saw a dragon, it blew me away.
Really?
Yeah, I was walking around this coast, right? Sorry, I'm hyped. I need to talk about it.
No,
I was walking along this coast, and the coastline's really nice. They got some really like stormy sea physics and stuff going on. And then in the distance, like I see it going down. There's this massive dragon, fucking huge. I was about as big as one of his toenails or something, fighting with this giant. And like this giant's just swinging this huge club about, or this big boulder or something. And then the dragon's like breathing electricity all over it. And I was like just sitting and watching. And then the dragon fucked off, and the giant killed my entire party. Good times, man. Immediately reloaded, went back and found it, and fucked it up. It's weird. It's weird. Basically,
what class are you playing?
I'm playing a two-handed sword wielding warrior.
Okay.
So
carry on.
you kind of, at first I wasn't really sure how it worked. It was like press R2 to regular attack, right? So I was just like mashing right trigger to do attacks and stuff. And then like I just held it in and it just kept swinging. So I was like, okay, well, you just hold in right trigger to activate an auto attack. But then, like, why isn't there just a regular auto attack feature? Why can't I just pick an enemy and hit auto attack, and then my character just walk in and start attacking? Like, that would have been way easier. That's the way it worked in the first Dragon Age, and then the second Dragon Age was like a more combo-based, like action-y system. And this feels almost like an amalgam of the two. Like, there is a tactical view that you can go into. I haven't really made use of it yet because playing a melee character, I don't really need that much in the way of like tactics and stuff. I just go in and hit stuff. But no, I'm really liking it so far. The story's pretty good as well. It was nice to get like an option to choose my voice at the beginning, but both of the voice options for the human male were kind of like meh, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would, if you're gonna have like the main character be voiced, like maybe pick one person to do the voice, kind of like they did with Mass Effect. Like you've got, I think it's Mark Meir does male Shepard in all of the games, and then oh god, I shouldn't have forgot her name because Mass Effect fans will hate me. That awesome voice actress that does a lot of voice work
in other things.
Did female femshep throughout all the games, and like it didn't really matter. Jennifer Hale, that's it. Jennifer Hale. So, and that gave you some really solid voice work, whereas it sounds kind of patchy in this one, just because I don't know whether there's different options for different races, but there's definitely 2 voices for males and 2 voices for females, which I'm not a massive fan of. It allows you to customize more, but I feel like the end result might be suffering a little bit because of it. I don't know. But no, I definitely recommend it. If you can get it for less than 65 quid, do it. But even I wasn't disappointed with the 65 quid price tag. So,
how long did you spend in the character creator? Because it's quite in depth, right?
Quite a long time, actually. It's funny you should mention that. I wasn't even going to bring it up. I was building my character for about an hour, man. Like just playing with sliders and stuff. Yeah. I got really into it until I made a character which looks like. Well, at first I was going to try and make it look like Guts from Berserk. Quickly realized that they didn't have the right hairstyles for it, so I just ended up. I was like, well, I'll make my own type of character then. But I didn't want him to look like a mutant, like half the rest of the people in Dragon Age, who have like really disproportionate facial features and stuff. So it took a while, like sculpting away at him to make him look good. But I think I've.
So yours is a freak then.
Yeah. He's the only normal looking guy in a world full of disproportioned mutant people. But that's fine, man. That's the way Dragon Age has always been, so I'm okay with that. But no, loving some of the characters and stuff as well. You got one of the main chicks, Cassandra, was previously in it at the beginning or throughout Dragon Age 2 as like the person who was questioning Varric as Varric was recounting the story. And she's like the first companion that you get in the game. And like she's like short, dark hair, and she's like a massive bitch, like warrior. Immediately I just thought like, oh, you're such a bitch. You're so horrible. I wonder if I can make you love me. Like, you're going to be my romance option this run. Like,
challenge accepted.
It's good, man. I'm really enjoying it. Really, really enjoying it. I haven't been like this engrossed in a video game in a long time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You got to keep us up to date on that.
Yeah, I'll let you know how it goes, man. I'll probably have it finished soon, the amount I'm fucking hammering it.
Oh no, fuck the game. I'm talking about a romance.
We'll see, man. There's some really interesting romance options in this game. It's funny. It's good stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been doing. Just playing the crap out of that, man. So let's move on to our main topic, which we're going to have to keep brief now because we've been running for ages, which is we're officially a year into current gen or new gen. No? Nobody's excited for that.
Surprises?
Yeah, okay.
It was like, woo!
Yeah, good times, man. Basically, I just wanted to get like some highlights from each of you guys. Like, what's been your highlight of the first year of like the new gen of gaming, man?
Where's the gun?
Like, I mean, just things that stand out to you, like things that you've been doing more this year that maybe you couldn't have done the year before, you know?
Resogun.
Resogun, yeah?
Resogun.
Resogun's your highlight. I played so much Resogun, man. Not because it was free or anything.
Yeah, I'd say probably the highlight of the year has to be Microsoft's decision to drop the Kinect. I know that goes against what you just mentioned about like my highlight, but I think that is pretty key to, because if you remember the hype, it was all about Kinect and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And so for them to drop it was a pretty big statement of pretty much quietly saying, all right, we fucked up here, but we're going head to head with Sony. And now it's a fair fight.
Yeah, do you know what? I'm inclined to agree with you, mate. There was a really big event from this year. It was almost like Microsoft putting their hands up and saying, do you know what? Like, we dominated last gen, but I guess we can't just ride on the coattails of that. Kind of like the way Sony did last gen when they walked in thinking, people ain't going to care paying $600 and stuff. Microsoft kind of had the same mindset, and it's almost like once Phil Spencer started getting things rolling and making his changes and stuff, it's almost like he's switching things up. So I'd agree. The removal of the Kinect and the dropping of the price and stuff was a really, really solid thing.
Yeah, they've been quite. Yeah, I'd say if anything, that's probably kept the Xbox One more alive, and I think because they couldn't afford a second Christmas with those sort of sales differences. Well, I don't think. So yeah, that's probably for me the biggest thing. The most enjoyable thing of this. That's a difficult one actually. That's really tough. What's the most? Well,
it's harder. It's harder for me because like. If Jamie was here, I'm sure he'd be talking about like the new PS4 update and like the share play features and stuff like that, which I haven't had a chance to like play with yet, or I haven't actively looked into. I haven't taken advantage of, so I can't really comment on those. I've had good words from people that I know, like saying that we were using share play to play FIFA and stuff, and it was pretty solid. There was like far less lag than we thought there was going to be and stuff. But since I haven't played it or used it, I can't comment on that. So
I think I know. I think it's the share feature, that one little button in the top left of the controller that you always seem to press a bit too late. Yeah, it's missed a moment and you've got to wait for a replay in FIFA. But I think that is just such a. I mean, bearing in mind, games consoles always overshadowed with the PC, saying like they're out of date and stuff already.
Yeah,
but that. And to be able just to link it seamlessly up with your social media sites, it's just a stroke of genius. I mean, you can't do it to YouTube, can you?
You can't do it yet, but I believe it's coming in the next title update.
So I think that again just keeps it all alive, and yeah, I think that's brilliant. It's opened up the games, and you're right, the share play or whatever it's called, that is on another level. I haven't tried it just yet, but I remember when I read about it, it blew my mind, So I haven't actually found any games haven't found anyone I want to be able to share it with yet. That's a bit weird. But yeah, no, I think those two for me are probably the biggest. I suppose that gives you the biggest inkling between what's last gen and what this gen means, aside from just graphics.
This is kind of cool because it's like. I wrote down like four bullet points to talk about whilst we were talking about this. Yeah, I wrote down highlights, like what were your highlights and stuff. Then I wrote down what's different, right? And we've immediately gone straight into that, right? Like when the PlayStation 4 launched, it didn't have any of this share play stuff. Like when the Xbox One launched, you had to get it with Kinect, and now it's like you can get it without Kinect. You can get it cheaper. Like this is how much things have changed in just 1 year, man.
And there's still, I mean, I think one of the bigger game changes that Sony still has up its sleeve is was it Play TV? Not Play TV. What's it called?
PlayStation Now.
PlayStation Now.
Is that the PS3 and previous game streaming service? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a nostalgic cash cow, I'd say. I mean, again, I'm putting my neck on the line here, but people creaming themselves over nostalgia. You can't play your PS3 games on your PS4, and if you're like me, you had a 60 gig and it died or whatever, you're not going to go get a Slim now. Yeah. So what are you going to do? You're going to buy that so you can play your games, and you may end up buying some more PS3 games as well. So they're sort of extending the life of the PS3 almost.
I'm inclined to agree, man. I think it could be a really strong service, but it has to be very competitively priced. The lower you price the service, the more people will use it.
And the more they'll buy.
Yeah, and I think with a service like that, people will use it a lot if it's really reasonably priced. Like, there's a lot of games last gen that were maybe exclusive to PlayStation 3 that people that have come from Xbox 360 to PlayStation 4 maybe haven't played. And they would definitely take advantage of that as well. So
yeah, I suppose the question mark on it is how it affects online games, because with sort of random, with servers being turned off and stuff, So I suppose there's always that big question mark there, of how that works. But yeah, I think that's probably the thing I'm most looking forward to next year, to just see how it pans out, really.
Cool. And the last bullet point I had is where do we go from here? Like, what's left to come? I can tell you things that are necessary. PlayStation 4 needs a solid system selling game. I don't think it has one yet. There isn't a console exclusive that you must own a PS4 for yet. I mean, a couple of games maybe are in contention for this. Like, you might be able to argue that Infamous Second Son's a really good game, or Last of Us Remastered is a really good game, but none of them have the wow factor of, say, Halo 5 when that comes out and stuff,
Uncharted 3, I guess, will be its secret weapon.
4.
Uncharted 4, yeah.
Uncharted 4, sorry, yeah.
You're a generation behind, Johnny.
I really am, yeah.
Which, when that drops, definitely. But I think, I feel like Last of Us sold better than Uncharted 3. I don't know whether that's solid. I haven't got the figures in front of me, but I know Last of Us did amazingly well, better than they thought, which is why I get the feeling that this next Uncharted might be the last Uncharted. Whereas then they're going to move into sort of banging out a few Last of Us sequels before moving on to something new altogether. But I know a Last of Us sequel could do it. If there was a sequel to The Last of Us coming out, that could be the system seller. But
definitely,
there's one thing we haven't mentioned, and I know it's older, but the Wii U. I suppose if Jamie was here, there would be a little bit on the Wii U. I mean, where do you guys? How do you feel that's gone for it? I mean, it was a pretty slow, still a bit of slow selling concept. But
it'll be really interesting in a month to see what the sales figures for the previous month looked like, because we've already seen that Smash Bros is a very, very popular license, right? A popular franchise. It shifted 1 million copies in Japan on the 3DS really quickly. I think it shifted 1 million copies in the States as well on the 3DS. Or I don't know, maybe it didn't shift 1 million copies in the States. Again, I don't have Jamie's numbers in front of me. Right? But it did really well on the 3DS, and I think that's going to translate over to the Wii U as well. I remember hearing that the Wii U sales increased dramatically when Mario Kart came out, and I feel I feel like Smash Bros fan base is a lot larger than Mario Kart's fan base, so it's definitely going to pick up. But it's whether they can sort of capitalize on that increase in sales. There has to be games there that people want, and I know that they've got them coming, but they just seem to be trickling out slowly, very slowly.
So up to this point, then, what would you say is a standout moment for the Wii U?
Oh, that's a very good question, man. It's got to be Mario Kart for me. Yeah, hands down, because that game is, how do I say this? Before, I really liked the DS Mario Kart, right? And I'm not really sure why. Something about the way it controls it. I wasn't a fan of the Wii Mario Kart. Never really liked any of... Well, Double Dash was alright. I had some fun with it. I know people have problems with Double Dash, but this feels like a nice combination, if you will, between like what the bits of Mario Kart Wii that I kind of liked, and the stuff from the DS version and Double Dash that I kind of like, just all pulled together nicely. I don't think they brought any of the stuff that I disliked forward into the Wii U version. I might even say it's the definitive version of Mario Kart at this point. So
it feels the most complete, and I suppose it's a bit funny saying that because it has all the experience of the other ones. But yeah, I think you're right. You know, when you look back in history, they've always been missing a bit, or they're always something they didn't quite borrow or translate well into when it moved from console to console. And I think this one, I mean, I haven't even played it that long, but what I have played just blew me away.
I'll tell you one of the things that I really appreciate in it, right? They added a few new features to it, like the 0G sections where your car's like magnetically attached to the walls and stuff. They could have really abused that, like, and put in new features and stuff that were only available on those parts of the course and stuff that would have like marred the experience. But they just added it as a side thing, like, this is happening, but your cart's still controlled pretty much exactly the same. Like, everything is still the same. It's just an interesting addition to the course. So rather than adding unnecessary bollocks, they added a feature that is almost purely aesthetic, right? Like, just being able to drive up walls and stuff. But the camera shifts. It's not like you're driving sideways. Like, you still feel like you're racing as normal. Which, like, they could have very easily screwed that up. But it ended up being a perfect addition, man.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Cool. Well, I mean, as of right now, PS4, I've got numbers which could be wrong, and Jamie will tell you next week if these figures are wrong.
There's going to be a lot of corrections next week from Jamie, isn't it?
You better believe he will tell you if these are wrong next week. But I've got PlayStation 4 sitting at 3.5 million units shipped, and Xbox One sitting at 10 million units shipped. I couldn't find solid figures shipped. We're talking shipped to retailers here, those numbers. Now,
wait, 3.5 to 10 point...
No, 13.5. Did I say 3.5?
Oh, 13, sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Okay. 13.5 million for PlayStation 4 and 10 million for Xbox One. So that's shipped to retailers and stuff.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any solid sales numbers on Xbox One. I don't know whether those numbers are just not out there or not, but sources are saying that like PS4 has been outselling it like almost 2-to-1. So I would imagine with PS4 probably sitting around 12 million sold to customers, Xbox One is probably around 7-8 million sold to customers right now.
It was about 6. Yeah, it was in the high 6s before, because I think the Wii U was on about 7 when we were talking about it not long ago. So yeah, I mean, you're probably about right.
Those are pretty encouraging figures, man. Like, that many consoles sold in a year is really good. Like, especially to the detractors and people beforehand saying that console gaming is dying. But like, all the evidence is pointing to the contrary. Like, Sony are saying that currently the PS4 is outselling the PS2 where that was in its life cycle, you know? With that much evidence, like, that people would want console gaming, I can't believe people are still saying that it's on its way out.
Well, I mean, you know, it's quite interesting because there's the other two consoles which we haven't spoken about, and like, you know, with different fortunes. But the 3DS, I mean, it doesn't seem to be stopping that console in whatever shape or form it's been in. It's very reminiscent of the original Game Boy in that sense. I mean, it lost its way around the GBA era, but you know, since it became a DS, now the 3DS, it's just on a different level.
Yeah.
And I still think, I don't. Maybe it's more out of hope. I still have a feeling that the Vita has a lot more to offer, and it just hasn't been tapped in yet. I don't know what it is, and I maybe it's just me being a Vita owner, a blind Vita owner, you know. But I don't know. I want it to do well. I just want it to do something.
Same here, man.
It's something where people can say, actually, that's really cool.
It's not gonna happen, man.
No.
I love my Vita a lot, right? I played a lot of Freedom Wars when it came out. I'm getting Tales of Hearts R. I think it's Tales of Hearts R, the one that was just released in the Vita. I'm picking that up on Friday, so I'm going to hammer that game as well. But it's not going to happen. We're going to get some solid exclusive titles like over the next couple of years, but they're going to be few and far between. We'll maybe get 1 or 2 a year that are really, really good games. But there's going to be no magical like sales spike or no game that makes everyone want a Vita. It's just not going to happen, man.
Yeah, I think the momentum and the hype is gone, but it is a shame. But I'd just love for it to have something, you know. I mean, I got nothing against 3DS. It's a good console. I didn't think much of the 3D feature, but you know, again, I think it varies between whoever's developing for it.
I'm right there with you, man. I didn't like the 3D feature either, so I got a 2DS.
Yeah, no, but I mean, again, sorry, we're going off on one here, but the Nintendo titles, like the home titles, they seem to do the 3D really well, whereas other publishers seem to be having a bit of an issue, and I suppose that's where you get the love-hate thing with the 3D, depending on how you judge it. But yeah, I don't know. It's something about, I suppose, the Vita is the underdog, and I just want it to come to fruition. Really, can do something. You know, like, do it, move. Yeah. Anyway.
Awesome. Okay, well, I've got a little bit of flash news that we can bang through quick, and then that we will call it because we've been going for quite a long time. I'm surprised. Cool. We're usually grasping at straws when James is not about, but it's gone not badly. It's not bad at all. Okay,
just a good one, Jay.
Well, the first piece of news that I have is Dark Souls 2 is coming to Xbox One and PlayStation 4 early next year under the title Dark Souls 2: Scholar of the First Sin. It's going to be sporting improved visuals. All the currently released DLC packs will be on the disc or there for you. There's going to be new enemy placement throughout the game. So if you're a Dark Souls vet and you've run the game countless times, it's going to be new for you because enemies are going to be in completely different locations and stuff.
And new enemies as well, I think. Some new types.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so new enemies as well.
I think I read that.
There's going to be enhancements made to multiplayer so that more players are going to be able to play together at the same time. And they said there's going to be general balancing fixes as well. So just like what a normal title update would do.
And some new weapons and stuff.
Yeah, around the same time, there's going to be update 1.10, I believe, for the previous gen console versions. Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin will be available for the previous consoles. You just won't have better visuals and stuff like that. It will just be a bundle of the game with all the DLC and the fixes that they can add to that version. But that's all coming out around April time, I believe, next year. Interested, Johnny? You going to pick up on next gen?
I think I actually might buy it again because I've got the PC version, but I don't play my PC that often, so I've not completed it or anything. So I think I will actually pick up the PS4 version and play it on there. I think I prefer it on there, and may as well.
Be interested to see if the 60 FPS from the PC version carries over to the Xbox One and PS4 versions, man.
I hope so
because it's very very noticeable, man. Like,
yeah, it is.
It's a good one. Next, the trailer for Jurassic World dropped. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good times with dinosaurs. I got a couple of fucking gripes with this trailer, right?
Get it.
Right? Who greenlit another fucking Jurassic Park theme park?
I don't know.
This is a world where like 3 times this has happened now. People have been fucking attacked by dinosaurs. Probably more. Just only 3 times they made moves. One time, a fucking T-Rex ripped through New York. I remember that happened. It might not have been New York. Some fucking American town in the second movie. And now they're just reopening another Jurassic Park theme park. Jurassic World theme park. On the island from the second 2 movies.
Wait, so this is in the same timeline sort of thing?
I think so.
In the same world.
I don't know. If it's not, then this gripe is completely irrelevant. But if it is set in the same world... Like, the first Jurassic Park ended horribly, right? So why make it again? Why make a new Jurassic Park theme park? Not even just a theme park. One where you're doing genetic experiments on fucking dinosaurs. Like, that's gonna like go down well, for fuck's sake.
I know, the plot's a bit.
It's such a ridiculous idea. It's nice to see Chris Pratt in it, though. I didn't even know who he was before Guardians of the Galaxy, but ever since seeing him in that, he's just like a really likable person. So I'll probably see the movie just to like watch him in it. Yeah, that sounds gay. It's fine.
Yeah.
No worries. Gianni, did you see the trailer?
Nope.
Watch it, man. It's super funny. It's like... It looks almost...
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to watch it.
It looks almost... They've got like a ridiculous level of tech in some places, and like some of the architecture just looks like it's straight out the fucking Hunger Games. It's funny, man.
I'm wondering if they... Because that woolly mammoth has been found and they're looking to genetically clone it. I wonder if that's got anything to do with... I don't know. Yeah. Next.
Maybe. There has been... I don't know whether it's the first, but like... This the most major one that I've seen, a scandal on the esports scene. You see it in normal sports all the time. Oh, you know, so and so's been doping or whatever, or like they're using performance enhancing drugs. Valve upgraded their anti-cheating software, and a number of pro Counter-Strike Global Offensive players have been banned after it picked up that they were using like aimbots and stuff that weren't able to be detected by the previous cheating software.
That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, so a couple of high-profile players have been like fired from their teams and stuff over it, which brings up some really some more solid questions, right? I always assumed that because I'm not really into esports and stuff, I always assumed that they turned up like to competition venues and there was maybe like default rigs there running the game, so everybody like just came, sat at their default rig, and then played against each other, so it was a completely even playing field.
That's what I thought.
How would they be able to use like cheating software though if it was a default rig in a venue? Like, do they bring their own rigs to tournaments?
Probably.
I don't know how it works, to be honest.
I don't know either, but I thought it was interesting to mention because it was the first thing that I'd ever seen that was comparable to regular sports coming out of the esports scene. And lastly, a number of cinemas in America are going to be showing the Star Wars Episode 7 teaser this Friday. So I know you guys probably don't care about Star Wars, but I fucking love it. So I'm hoping it gets leaked online the same day. So look,
it will do.
Yeah, look for that to be around online on Friday. What are you laughing, Gianni?
Nothing. I hope it gets leaked online that day.
Yeah,
you know, because if it comes out and the next day, such a catastrophe. Oh, my life is ruined.
But that's
actually, it probably will be. There's spoilers everywhere.
But that's about everything. Is there anything you guys wanted to add before we close shop?
My pizza's gone cold.
Your pizza's gone cold.
Yeah. I felt I should add that.
I've
had to refrain.
Everyone feels bad for Janice Pizza.
Oh, and speaking of which, for anyone who's still listening, the latest episode of House of Spagnoli has been uploaded, and you should watch all the way to the end.
Yeah, there's some interesting information about the future of that series at the end of the episode. Luckily, the episode's properly funny. Look for Gianni to piss himself again. Good times, man. Good fucking times.
Hashtag shit walking.
Cool. Well, thanks to everybody for listening. It's always a joy recording these podcasts. Like one of my favourite things that I do each week. I'm sure you guys feel similarly, if not the same.
Of course.
Yeah.
You can find us. You can find us on Facebook at GSC Games. You can like us on Facebook. I'm not really getting this ending down, man. I need to write a script or something for it. Whatever. We're on Facebook at GSC Games. You can find us on Twitter at GSC Games. Our individual Twitter tags will be down in the description below. If you want to watch House of Spagnoli, that is over on our YouTube channel, which is also at GSC Games. And we will see everybody next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers and bye-bye.